let our demand function be or notice we have this term A and B. A and B are parameters. A parameter is simply an unspecified constant. So A is some constant. For example, A could be 100, or A could be 200. But whatever A is, it's fixed. But we're not going to specify what particular value it is. Same thing for B. For example, B could be 1, could be 2, could be 3. But whatever value it is, it's fixed. So this is our demand function written in parameter form. Our supply function is, notice the S subscript for supply, the D subscript for demand. Q sub S equals minus C plus DT. Then our equilibrium condition is same as before. And equilibrium, quantity demanded, quantity supplied are the same. Now we do have some restrictions that we're going to place on these parameters A, B, C, and D. We're going to assume that all these parameters are positive. A, B, C, and D are all assumed to be positive. Notice in words, what does A represent in this demand function? Obviously it's a parameter, but what does A actually represent in this demand function? Think geometrically.
It's an intercept.
Yeah, it's the intercept in the demand function. If we were to graph our demand function, with Q on the vertical axis and P on the horizontal axis, the demand function would start right up here at A. So A is the vertical intercept. Alternatively, you could describe A as the quantity consumers would want to buy if the price of the product were 0. The price of the product were 0. If you were giving away the good, then A would represent the quantity that consumers would want to pick up. Vertical intercept. What about minus B? In words, what is that? It's the slope of the demand curve. The slope of the demand curve. Notice that demand curve is linear. That coefficient on price is just the slope, the rise over the rise. So the slope of this demand curve is minus B. For every 1 unit increase in price, quantity falls by B units. What about this parameter right here, minus C? How would you describe that geometrically?
The intercept, or, well, I guess
yeah, right. It is the intercept of the which curve? Of the supply curve, right? So if we were graphing the supply curve, it would look like this. The intercept would be minus C. Notice C is assumed to be positive. So this intercept is going to be minus C, which is negative, which is below the origin here. And that's where the supply curve starts. And let me make this dash here. What about D? It's the slope of the supply curve. D is the slope of the supply curve. Notice D is assumed to be positive, so the supply curve has a positive slope, slopes upward. The slope of the demand curve is minus B, the slope of the demand curve is negative. So the slope of the supply curve is D. It is very important that you be able to describe what these equations mean in words like this. So one of the questions I guarantee that I'll ask on the exam or quiz is explain what these parameters, what they mean in words. If you don't understand that, then you don't really understand what you're doing. So it is important that you be able to understand this stuff and be able to explain it in your own words. Because if you can't do that, then you don't really understand.